So, Laura, what random shelf did you get? Oh, look, it's romance. Aren't you excited? We decided to do another library crawl after having so much fun on our last one. But this time we are going to local libraries. We are going to the Estevan Library, the Mydale Library, and the Weyburn Library. So this should be fun. We're going to do 2 prompts at the bigger libraries and 1 at the tiny library. And let's get on with it and enjoy our library crawl. Shauna, what did you
I
get?
had to pick from the paperback racks, and I got Three Graves Full by Jamie Mason.
Mom, you had a 1-word title.
Shake Up by Stuart Woods. I have never read a Stuart Woods before, and he's got like 80-some books. So I thought I'd try one of his.
Okay. I had fantasy, and I got Under the Final Moon with Hannah Jane by Hannah Jane.
And I also had to do a 1-word title, and so I picked Macbeth by Joe Nesbo. I've been wanting to try one of his books.
Okay, so my prompt was an author's name that starts with R-E-A or D. So I got Find You in the Dark by Nathan Ripley.
Okay, my prompt was a staff recommended book. So I've got Everyone Here is Lying by Sherry Lapina.
So mine was Flower on the Cover, and if you look really closely, there's flowers on the spine of that book. You have to look really closely.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. We'll allow that.
Okay. Mayhem at the Orient Express by Kylie Logan.
Mine was to get a book by a Canadian author, and I like that the library has it marked there. But this is The Prairie Chicken Dance Tour by Don Dumont.
Right, who do I want to check out first? Okay.
Oops, sorry.
No worries.
Had to get a book with LGBTQ plus rep, and I got Pew by Catherine Lacey.
Laura.
Okay. So my prompt was
A new release.
new release 2025. So I got When Shadows Fall by Neil Lancaster. Sounds
Okay, Mom.
really good.
I had to have a book with green on the cover. So I picked Saving Simon, How a Rescue Donkey Taught Me the Meaning of Compassion by John Katz.
And for me, I had to have one with blue on the cover, and so I picked Daughter of Mine by Megan Miranda. So, Laura, what random shelf did you get? Oh, look, it's romance. Aren't you excited? Here's what I'll do for you, Laura. I'll give you the option of doing one more spin.
Please.
Okay,
No, not even a spin. Just
just a different...
1 to 19 again.
Okay,
Please.
okay. We'll do 1 to 19 again.
Thank you.
Where's Shauna? So, poor Laura.
I assume I left my.
She got this romance section, so I told her after I found her crying over here, I told her that I would let her spin the shelves 1 to 19 again. Okay, so we'll do that.
My prompt was blue on the cover. So I've got The Big Cat Nap by Rita Mae Brown and Sneaky Pie Brown.
Okay.
Yeah.
So mine was to use a number generator to pick a shelf or section, and then a number generator to pick a section within that section. And then I got to pick a book. And I chose The Palace of Curiosities by Rosie Garland.
And that convince us that you have a
I had
pattern.
to pick one that had a pattern on the cover. So I figure, stripes is a pattern. There's 4 apples. You could consider that to be a pattern. Or even this, like the netting here could be considered a pattern.
Okay, we'll allow it. Should we vote?
It's repetitive.
That is true.
Okay, everybody who agrees, put your hand in the middle. Okay, you're good, Shauna.
Okay, so this is Apples Never Fall by Leanne Moriarty.
I had to pick a novella, so I decided to go with The Christmas Cat by Melody Carlson.
I've got The Best of Me by Nicholas Sparks.
All right, so mine was a dragon on the cover, and I chose Robert Asprin's Myth Quoted by Jody Lynn Nye.
Hey, Shauna has to
So mine is,
talk us into something
an
again.
animal on the cover. And while I realize this is a very, very dead animal, I feel it should count as an animal.
It is still an animal.
Yeah, I'll let you have it.
Okay. So this one is Extinction by Douglas Preston.
It didn't say a live animal, so
Yeah, it
you
just
know.
said an animal.
And mine was a sci-fi, and so I found The Collapsing Empire by John Scalzi. And I love John Scalzi's writing. This is the first in a duology that he wrote previously, obviously, because it's here. Okay, everyone. We have returned from our library tour. That was a lot of fun checking out those libraries. I had actually never been to the Weyburn Library before in their newer building. I had been to it years ago when they were in an older building. And I'd never been to Mydale before. So that was interesting too. And then, of course, Estevan is my home library. So the books that I ended up picking, I will let you know more about each one of them. And then we will start reading them throughout the month. And I will link down in the description the video that I did from our summer library crawl. And you can check that one out. That was a lot of fun. And I had a lot of fun making the video. And then I will, again, be interviewing my mom and my two sisters as to what they thought of the books that they took out. And we'll see how it all goes. So the first prompt that I got was for a one-word title. And for that one, I chose Macbeth by Joe Nesbo. This was from the Estevan Library. I've been wanting to check out some of Joe Nesbo's writing. I haven't ever read any of his books before. This one is part of a long series that he's just one of the writers in. There's multiple writers, and they all have each book has a title to do with Shakespeare, but they're not like really connected in a character way or anything. So it doesn't matter which one I read. So this one is set in 1970 in a rundown, rainy industrial town. It centers on a police force struggling to shed an incessant drug problem. Duncan, the chief of police, is idealistic and visionary, a dream to the townspeople, but a nightmare for criminals. The drug trade is ruled by two drug lords, one of whom, a master of manipulation named Hecate, I think that's how you say that name, has connections with the highest in power and plans to use them to get in his way. So it looks like it's kind of like a crime novel. And I believe this one is, it was published in 2018, and it is a translation. I'm looking forward to checking that out, and it will count towards my translated books for the year too, which is a plus because I am behind on that goal. Then also at the Estevan Library, I got the prompt to pick a Canadian author. And one thing I definitely appreciate with the libraries is that when it's a Canadian author, they have it right on the spine. So when I get this prompt, it's really easy to pick or to find which books are Canadian authors. So I chose this one. This is called The Prairie Chicken Dance Tour by Don Dumont. And I thought this one looked really interesting. I've never heard of this author before, but I see that she's written several books. And if I like this one, I'll read more. This is the hilarious story of an unlikely group of Indigenous dancers who find themselves thrown together on a performance tour of Europe. The tour is all prepared. It's 1972, and the Prairie Chicken Dance Troupe is all set for a 15-day trek through Europe, performing at festivals and cultural events. But then the performers all get food poisoning, and John Greyeyes, a retired cowboy who hasn't danced in years, finds himself abruptly thrust into the position of leading a hastily assembled group of replacement dancers. And it is described as sassy, spirited humor. And so I'm very interested in it. This other one also says, beneath this successful facade of humor, Dumont has serious things to say about modern First Nations life. So I'm really, really curious about this one. It looks like it'll be funny and I'm sure probably poignant and very interesting. So that's the second one. Then the third book that I took out was at the Mydale Library, which was that tiny, cute little library. And I got the easy prompt, which was to have blue on the cover or in the title. And I found one that I've been wanting to read for a long time, and that is Daughter of Mine by Megan Miranda. Now, not necessarily this particular one, but I've been wanting to read a Megan Miranda. I haven't read anything by her yet, and I've heard really good things. So this is a new thriller from Megan Miranda. This one came out in, so it might not be new, 2024. Yeah, so it is pretty new. It says, the discovery of the first car was a shock. The second car was a pattern, a warning, and the key to a decades-old mystery that may be better off left in the past. Mirror Lake, nestled in the mountains of North Carolina, is a beautiful waterfront community where neighbors know neighbors, family businesses are the norm, and the small-town way of life seems to go on year after year uninterrupted. When the long-serving detective dies suddenly, his daughter Hazel Sharp returns home after nearly 10 years away. And it says, but Hazel isn't the only relic of the past to resurface. A drought has descended on the region, and as the water level in the lake drops, long-hidden secrets begin to emerge. So it looks like it's a really interesting one. Like I say, I've been wanting to try Megan Miranda for a long time. I've heard really good things about her, so looking forward to that one. Then the two prompts that I had at the Weyburn Library, the first one was to read a novella. Now, I had a hard time picking something. They did have one of Becky Chambers' ones about the monk and the robot, and I really want to read that series. But in this case, it was the second one in the series, and I didn't really want to read them out of order. So I ended up finding this one, which is called The Christmas Cat by Melody Carlson. It's quite a short one. It's only, what do we got here? 169 pages. And it says, after years abroad, Garrison Brown finds himself at the home of his beloved grandmother who has just passed away. He must sort out her belongings, including 6 cats who need new homes. While he hopes to dispense with the task quickly, especially since he's severely allergic to cats, his grandmother's instructions don't allow for speed. She has left some challenging requirements for the future homes of her furry friends. Can he match the cats and the perfect new owners? And is it possible that he might meet his own match along the way? So it sounds like this is going to be a really cute little one. I know reading a Christmas book during spooky season here is probably not real the vibe that you would normally go for, but I'm always up for a Christmas book no matter what time of year it is. So, and then the final one that I got, the final prompt I got was to read a sci-fi. Now, I spent some time looking around and trying to decide what I felt like reading, and then I remembered that John Scalzi writes sci-fi. And I found one that is the first book in a series, I believe. It didn't require me to have read other ones in a series before it. So I found The Collapsing Empire by John Scalzi. Now I read Starter Villain by him and just loved it, but I've never read any of his actual like sci-fi. So this could be very interesting. Riding the flow, an extra-dimensional field available at certain points in space-time, humanity spreads to innumerable planets throughout the universe. A new empire arises, the interdependency, maintaining its control based on the doctrine that no one human outpost can survive without the others. But just as a river changes course, the flow changes as well. In rare cases, entire worlds have been cut off from the rest of humanity. When it's discovered that the entire flow is moving, possibly separating all human worlds from one another forever, 3 individuals, a scientist, a starship captain, and the emperox of the interdependency, must race against time to discover what can be salvaged from an interstellar empire on the brink of collapse. So it looks really interesting. I haven't read a ton of sci-fi, so I'm looking forward to trying John Scalzi's, since I enjoyed other books by him. So that is the 5 books that I'm going to read. I haven't chosen what order I'm going to read them in yet. We'll see whether I do them in the order I took them out, or if I read them based on whatever vibe I feel like going with. But I will let you guys know when I start the first one, and I will fill you in on my thoughts as I go along. So I hope you enjoy this vlog. Make sure you give me a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. And let's get on with reading the first book. Prairie Chicken Dance Tour. So I started this one. I am now 30 pages in, so not terribly far yet. But so far, I am enjoying it. I like the character voices. They're very distinct. You've gotten scenes from John's point of view, who is John Grey Eyes, who is the retired cowboy who is leading this troop. And then you have scenes from Edna, who is the old lady with arthritis, who is along to dance and mainly to watch over her niece, Desiree, who they're sending away because they think she's going to be getting into too much trouble. So she's going with them to kind of keep her out of trouble on the reserve, I guess. And but Edna is really funny. I really like her voice because she's extremely religious. And so it makes it really, really funny when her scenes, I just like laugh about the things that she says and does. Edna kept her spine straight and met their glances with her own annoyed look. She wasn't one to care about fashion. She had more important things to worry about, like God for one, and other godly concerns of a godly nature. Besides, people who judged others by appearance were as empty as a politician's promises. Just things like that she just makes me laugh. So anyways, we've got her scenes, and then we've also got Nadine, who was the original organizer of the tour, and she didn't realize when they all got sick, she had no idea that the chief was still going to put the tour forward and push the tour forward and have these other people fill in. So she's really angry and upset about that, and she's going to follow them and try and save the situation, because she has this troupe who's practiced their dancing, and they have a certain level of performance that they aspire to, and then you've got these other people going along with under their name and going to Europe for this dance tour. So that's where I'm at right now. Not a lot has happened yet. They're just on their way. And so far, like I say, I'm liking the voice. I'm finding it quite humorous and kind of a very straightforward writing style. So we'll keep reading that one, and I'll update you guys when I get a little further and I have a few more thoughts. I am just in town for the day doing some errands. I had to go to the post office and the bank, and now I'm at the grocery store. And I thought I would just take a moment to update you guys on how it went with the Prairie Chicken Dance Tour by Don Dumas. I finished it last night. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. Now, I really enjoyed the characters. I thought they were kind of a unique group of interesting characters. And the writing was very humorous, and yet at some points very serious. She did a humorous take, but there were some pretty serious topics. It takes place in the 1970s, so there's a lot of talk about residential schools and that sort of thing, because the characters had been to those schools. And it some of the stuff was definitely deep and a bit hard to read. But especially like the effects on people and how that changed them and how that changed their ability to parent and all those sorts of things. So there were some really deep topics as well as plenty of humor. I found the humor quite funny. The only issue that I had with the book is that I just didn't feel very I didn't feel compelled to pick it up when I wasn't reading it. When I was reading it, I had a really good time with it. But when I wasn't reading it, I didn't feel any specific compulsion to pick it up. And I think that it is kind of because it's similar in the vein of cozy fantasies for me. When I read Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, I enjoyed the characters. The story was fun. But because there weren't really any stakes to it, there weren't really any stakes, and there wasn't a really well-defined plot pushing the story. And so I didn't feel like I needed to pick it up and read it. And so it took me quite a long time to read. And this one was kind of the same way, because it was kind of, you're following these people on their tour and everything, and it's kind of, there's little bits and pieces of conflict here and there, but overall the stakes weren't very high, and it was more slice of life-ish sort of about relationships and everything than it was an actual like strong plot. And I know the purpose of the story was the characters and their interactions and everything. But for me personally, I think I need a bit more plot than that. That's why for me, cozy mysteries work better than cozy fantasies, or like in this case, cozy historical, because you're still trying to solve a mystery. So there's a definite plot. Whereas in a cozy fantasy or something like this one, which is historical, but a little on the cozy side, it doesn't have any real pull for me to continue reading. Like I say, I enjoyed it while I was reading it. And as it got further into the book and I got to know the characters more, I enjoyed it a little bit more too. And I loved the humor. I laughed out loud sometimes, and she made me cry a couple of times as well with these characters. But overall, I just didn't feel that like drive to read it. And so that's why I gave it a 4 instead of anything higher, because it was well written and entertaining and everything. But for me personally, the enjoyment level wasn't quite as high as what I would normally give a 4.5 or a 5. So that's where I'm at with that one. I think that the next one I'm going to pick up is The Collapsing Empire by John Scalzi, because that's one of the ones that I'm the most interested in checking out from a standpoint of curiosity about how he writes his space operas, because I've loved the 2 books that I read of his, which was Starter Villain and The Kaiju Preservation Society, but I haven't ever read one of his space operas. So I'm really curious to see how his humor carries over into that, if it does, or if it's a little more serious, or all those sorts of things. So I think that's the next one that I am going to pick up, and I will start that later today. I will see you guys when I have a bit of an update for you.
Two of them I DNF'd.
Which one?
I DNF'd the Stuart Wood one. It was just too. I didn't like his writing. It was very uninteresting and choppy. His characters were very wooden and uninteresting. And there was too much of everyone sleeping with everyone else. It was kind of a political one in Washington, D.C. And then the other one that I DNF'd was The Big Cat Nap by Rita Mae Brown. And that was just, I DNF'd it because it was kind of boring to me. My favorite, I think, would have to be Everyone Here is Lying by Sherry Lapina.
And what order would you rank the ones that you read in from favorite to least favorite?
That one would be first, Everyone Here is Lying. Then the probably The Best of Me by Nicholas Sparks. It was a very good story. And then Saving Simon. It was about a guy who rescued a donkey. And it was a good one too.
If you had to recommend one to me, which one would you pick?
Probably Saving Simon.
And why?
I think you'd really enjoy that story of the guy saving the donkey.
This is Rudy. He's Mom and Dad's new kitten. He is very tiny, and he's a little tuxedo. And he's this little squirmy wormy, and he keeps reaching for you guys. They had to put their old guy Bitsy down this year, and so we got them Rudy. Rudy Tooty Fruity. You're so cute, Rude. You're rude and crude and cute. I have been reading The Collapsing Empire by John Scalzi, and I am now 106 pages in, and I'm really enjoying this one. It took me a little while to get into it at first, which I'm finding because I haven't read a lot of like the space opera type fantasy. Wow, my hair is like doing something really funny. Anyways, because I haven't read a lot of the space opera type sci-fi, it kind of takes me a little bit to get my mind wrapped around the distances that they travel and all those sorts of things. And some of the language and everything. But I am really enjoying this one. It's gotten to where things are really starting to happen further along in the story now. So I don't know if I told you much about this one other than what it said on the back of the book, but you're in this world where it's this empire called the Interdependency, and it has these humans living on various locations in various star systems, and they're all connected by what's called the flow, which is this, it's hard to explain, but it's kind of like this stream of space time or something like that they can get into with their spaceships, and then it'll take them like 9 months to go somewhere where it would have taken them like a century to travel or whatever. And so they can travel back and forth between these different areas. And then there's this area called Hub, which all of the parts of the flow come into, and that's where the Empire, where the Emperox lives. So you've got a few different characters that you're kind of following. One is the new Emperox. Her name is Cardinia, and she is the bastard child of the Emperor and another lady. And she wasn't supposed to ascend to the throne, but her brother, her half-brother, who was the heir, died under sort of mysterious circumstances, but he died, and so then she became the heir, and now her father has just died, so she's just become the Emperox. And so she was raised in a completely different world from this world, and I think she's kind of scientific minded and all that kind of stuff. But she wasn't raised with all the pomp and ceremony and everything. And then you have, there is a ship's captain, and it opens with her. And she is in the process of experiencing a mutiny on her ship, but they end up falling out of the flow, and that would like totally destroy them because they're not prepared. They don't have the... It's something that doesn't happen, and they don't have the supplies to get them through. So they managed to find a moving, I can't remember what they called it. It was like a moving access point, which is also unheard of. And they managed to get back in to the flow. So there's that going on. And then you have this area called End, which is where people are essentially exiled to for the most part, and they have this big uprising going on. There's a Duke of End, and they have this big uprising going on. But there's this scientist guy there who he was friends with the Emperox, the previous Emperox, and he was searching, he had some scientific theories about the flow and about the fact that it may be more changeable than everybody had assumed. The Emperox sent him out to End, where he could get data from all the ships that travel through the whole empire and try and prove or disprove his theories. And all of a sudden now, with the ship that fell out of the flow and got back in and everything, he thinks he has proved his theories. So he's looking at sending his son to go to see the Emperox. He doesn't know that the previous Emperox has died, because that just happened, and it takes at least 9 months for information to pass back and forth. So there's that going on. Then there's also a woman who's in charge of one of the shipping companies, because there's all these different shipping companies that also wield a lot of power, and she's being kind of targeted by this Duke on End, trying to ruin her business and whatever. And so there was a point of view from her. And then there's also been a couple of other ones, I think. I can't remember for sure. But it's been quite a few points of view so far. But I think your main characters are probably going to be the Emperox, the young scientist guy, and the ship's captain, based on the what's written on the back here. So that's kind of the general gist of the story. But now we're just getting to the point where they've realized that there's a problem. And so this young scientist is going to take a ship, hopefully to Hub, and meet with the Emperox and let her know what's going on. Well, he thinks it's still the old Emperox, but let the new Emperox know what's going on. So things are getting interesting, and I'm really enjoying the writing. I like John Scalzi's writing. I like the humor to it, and I also really like just the flow of his writing in general. in any of the books that I've read. I really like the flow of his writing. So really enjoying it, and I will let you know once I get quite a bit further. Well, I am now over halfway through The Collapsing Empire by John Scalzi, and I have to say I'm really enjoying this one. I'm starting to find the whole world very interesting, which is sometimes a challenge for me when it comes to sci-fi like this, because I sometimes struggle a little bit with worlds that are too different from our own, and sci-fi and certain fantasies can be kind of like that. I love medieval fantasy because it tends to mimic our own world a little bit more and that kind of thing. And like the sci-fi, like say, for example, John Scalzi's The Kaiju Preservation Society. That one was more believable because it was like just an alternate dimension of our world and that kind of thing. So sometimes I struggle a little bit because I haven't been a big sci-fi reader in the past. Sometimes I struggle a little bit with getting into the world in these types of books, but I think the more that I read them, the easier it's going to be too. And I am really enjoying this one. John Scalzi, I think, is going to be my gateway drug into sci-fi. But hi, Yoongi. What you doing? Oh, you coming up here to suck on my finger. Sigh. Anyway, I'll just keep talking. I know this is disturbing, but he does it for a comfort thing for some reason. Anyway, but I'm starting to really like the characters. In particular, I like the scientist character. He's on the planet of End, and he is trying to get to the main planet of Hub to let them know about the issues facing, or the issues with the collapsing of the flow. And I really like his character. It's Marce is how it's spelled. I'm calling him Mark, but I really, really like his character, and I like the Emperox's character, Cardinia. So the two of them are kind of my favorite characters that we're following, and I'm really enjoying their points of view. So I'm really curious as to where the rest of this is going to go, and I'm going to just keep reading and enjoying it. Right now, things are not looking good for either of those characters, and they're the ones that I like the most. So we'll see. The only thing I'm concerned about is that being halfway already, I don't know what all is going to get resolved in this particular book. So I may have to speed up my reading of the next book in the series, because this I just there's a lot that could happen in the next 150 or so pages, and I just don't know how much of the main danger and issues is actually going to get resolved in this particular book. So we will see, and I will keep reading that, and hopefully I'm hoping to maybe finish it today or tomorrow at the latest. Today is the Sunday of the Grey Cup, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders are in the Cup, so I'm going to watch that this evening. And then hopefully I'll be cheerful afterwards and keep reading and not have to, read as a consolation because of bad things. So anyways, I'll let you guys know how it goes.
Oh, that guy's fall. Yeah.
What you doing, Oscar? What you doing? Nobody can see me. I was going to record an update. Hi, everybody. It's hard to see me here. And I don't know if you can hear anything over his purr. Anyway, I finished The Collapsing Empire by John Scalzi. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I ended up really enjoying it. The only reason why it didn't hit 5 stars for me was because I compared it to some of the other 5 stars that I've read this year, and the characters didn't quite grip me as much as in those ones, but I have a feeling that as I read the other 2 in this trilogy, that I'm going to really fall in love with the characters, because already there's 2 of them that I really, really like. So, yeah, I finished this one today, and like I say, I really enjoyed it. His pacing is really good. He keeps you really interested in the story. He makes characters that you want to root for, and then there's also characters that you really don't like. So he's really good at the character work, and like I said before, his sense of humor just really seems to work well for me. And even in a more serious book like this one, because the other 2 that I read were Starter Villain, which was generally just hilarious, and then the Kaiju Preservation Society, which was meant to be very humorous. This one here was a little bit more serious. You got some life and death things going on, and the there's the possibility of the destruction of all humanity, sort of thing. But so it's a lot more serious in that aspect, but there was still enough humor in it that it tickled my funny bone at the right points. And I'm really, really enjoying John Scalzi as an author, and I'm definitely going to pick up more of his books. I just recently bought his one, Red Shirts, to read as well. But when I finished this one, I went onto the library website right away, and I checked to see if they had the second one in the series. They do, so I ordered it right away because I want to know what happens next. This one, it obviously didn't wrap everything up because it's a trilogy, and it left things in an okay situation, but not a great situation. So I think things are going to get worse before they get better. So I'm looking forward to reading the next book in the series, and I really did enjoy that one. So next up, I am going to be reading the novella, which is The Christmas Cat by Melody Carlson. And this one is about this guy named Garrison, who has just returned from overseas, and his grandmother passes away, and he inherits her estate and everything. And along with it come these cats that she had rescued, along with some strict instructions onto how she wants homes found for them. So he ends up having to do that, and I believe it turns into a bit of a romance and that kind of thing. So I'm going to read that one next. I'm going to try and finish it tonight, I think, because it's a short novella, and then move on to my next one. So I'll update you guys when I get about halfway through, I think. And it's just kind of funny because when I took this one out from the library, when we did our library crawl in September, I took this one out and I was laughing at myself because I was taking out a Christmas book in September. Well, things being what they were and the way my fall has gone, it is now the end of November and I'm finally reading it. So it's seasonal for me. We had our first snow last night, and yes, so it is a seasonal read for me now. So that's kind of funny. But I will let you guys know when I get about halfway through what my thoughts are, and let's see how it goes. I have now reached about halfway in The Christmas Cat. So I thought I better update you guys. So a little bit more detail on what the story's about. I won't give you too much detail because it's a novella, but you're following this guy named Garrison Brown, and he's just returned from 9 years overseas doing missions work. He was raised by his grandmother, who, after he left for college and everything, ended up getting into cats and getting attached to cats. And she ends up passing away and leaves everything to him, but with the stipulation in her will that he has to find good homes for these cats. And she has all these detailed stipulations as to what is required of finding a home for each one of them. So, and the problem is that Garrison is very allergic to cats. He gets near them and he starts sneezing and all this kind of stuff. So he takes over his grandmother's house and he's trying to find homes for these cats, essentially. And there's a bit of a romance angle because he meets this young neighbor who is interested in one of the cats, but she doesn't meet all the stipulations. So this has caused a bit of friction, but he's also attracted to her and all this kind of stuff. So that's kind of where it's at. So far, my thoughts, it's a very cute little book. It's not anything, earth-shattering or anything like super emotional or anything, but it is a cute little Christmas book. The character's starting to grow on me. At first, I didn't really care for him much because he didn't like cats. So, but he's starting to like the cats, and so I'm starting to like him a little bit more. And just overall, it's just a cute little story. I don't really have a lot to say about it because there's not a lot of. I mean, it's a novella, so there's not a lot of depth to the story. But I am liking the cozy feel of it. It definitely has that cozy feeling, and it seems like it's going to be kind of sweet and I'm hoping. I mean, I'm assuming it'll have a happy ending. I have a feeling I know what's going to happen at the ending, but it seems like it'll be just one of those really nice, cozy little Christmas stories. And that's what I'm thinking at about halfway through. So I'm assuming that it'll probably go the direction that I think it's headed. And I will hopefully finish it here tonight. So I'm going to keep reading and I will let you know my final thoughts. I finished the Christmas Cat by Melody Carlson last night. And it was pretty late, so I decided not to update you then. But I figured since I'm out doing chores now, I'll update you here. We got some snow, which makes it feel a little more like Christmas. Yeah, so it was a pretty good book. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars because it was a cute little heartwarming novella, a bit of romance and some cute cats like this one here. Hi, Pumpkins. And all of that. But there wasn't anything like earth-shattering about it or, the characters weren't people that I was just super attached to. But I mean, it's a novella, so that doesn't happen all the time. But yeah, I did enjoy it, and I had a good time reading it. It was cute. There was a bit of religious content in it, which I didn't realize when I took it out, but that was fine. It wasn't overbearing. And yeah, it was just in general a fun, cute little book that I gave 3.5 stars to. So next, I think I'm going to read Daughter of Mine by Megan Miranda, because that one I think is going to be a bit of a quicker read over the Jo Nesbo one. So I'm going to read that one next, try and get that one a good start on it today anyway. We'll see how it goes. And I'll update you guys once I am a little ways into it and kind of have a bit better idea what it's about. For your library crawl, did you end up reading all of the books?
I did.
Okay, and what was your favorite one you read?
I think my favorite one was probably Apples Never Fall by Leanne Moriarty. I just really ended up enjoying that one. It reminded me why I like her writing a lot, because it's only the second one I've read, but I really enjoyed the previous one I had read, The Big Little Lies.
If you had to rank them from your favorite to your least favorite, how would you rank them?
Okay, I would say first would be Apples Never Fall. Second would be Extinction.
Third would be Three Graves Full. Fourth would be Find You in the Dark. And fifth would be Pew.
Okay. And if you had to recommend a book to me, which one would you recommend?
I actually would recommend Extinction to you because it was so much fun, and it was just a really good thriller. The premise was really interesting. Like the characters weren't necessarily super deep, although it turns out I think it's actually going to end up being a series, but they were still good people to follow. And I don't know, I ended up really liking that one. And I think it would be up your alley with the science side of it.
Oscar, you're a little heavy for that. You're a little heavy for that, Junker. Look at that. Look what you did to the tree. All that work I got to make it look nice, and look what you did with your chonkiness. Don't fall out. He's still gonna fall out of there. Oh, and this is why we tied the tree up. Yep, that's why we tied the tree up. I got a good start last night on Daughter of Mine by Megan Miranda. And I also decorated my Christmas tree, which you can see behind me there. And I got about 100 pages into it. So you're following this woman named Hazel. Her father has just passed away, so she's returned home to this place called Mirror Lake. But there is a drought going on, and as they're at the memorial for him and everything, a car is found under the lake. So it's being pulled out. And then another car is found right near their property. And so this is, people aren't sure what's going on and everything. And the vehicles don't have any identification and nobody is in them. So this is kind of the mystery that's going on. But then you also have a lot of family drama because you quickly discover at the very beginning that Hazel she left when people don't usually leave this little town. Her older brother and her slightly younger brother, they're very close in age, have quirks. She doesn't get along very well with her younger brother. And so there's a lot of family drama going on between them. And a lot of kind of bad blood, I think. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. But this idea of the drought revealing, I'm getting licked by this cat. Why are you licking my head? Anyway, Jungi. This is a very disjointed discussion. So it's going to be interesting to see where all the family drama goes and what's going on with these cars that have been abandoned in the lake. And just at the 100-page mark, something really interesting happened with the car that was found near their place that has upped the stakes of the whole mystery. So I'm really curious to see where it's going to go. So far, I'm liking the writing. This is my first Megan Miranda. I'm really liking the writing. I like the way that she's brought the characters to life. She has been writing the conflict really well and writing the main character's feelings about the conflict really well. I find that is one of those things that can make or break a family drama type mystery for me. And I'm really feeling what the main character is feeling. So that's a good sign so far. And I am going to read some more today, see how far I can get, hopefully finish this one fairly soon so I can get on to the last one and finish this vlog up before the end of the year since I started it in September. So anyways, I will keep going with that. Hopefully that was a semi-coherent discussion of what the book is about. I don't think I pitched it real well. It's let's see, what else can I say? Yeah, her father was a long-serving detective in the town, and she's been away for 10 years. And then there's all of this other stuff going on. But there's the water level in the lake has been dropping, so long-hidden secrets begin to emerge. And she's finding evidence that may explain what happened to her mother, who disappeared when she was a teenager. So that kind of is what leads her into the story and leads her into staying. Also, in the family drama, there's stuff going on because she inherited the house that belonged to her father, and the one brother thought that it should go to him. So there's that going on. So like I say, there's lots of family drama going on. And hopefully this was a semi-coherent pitch for the book because I'm having my head licked by a kitten and I'm extremely tired and I've had a lot of crazy things going on lately that have been exhausting me. So I don't know if that made any sense, but hopefully it did. And I will let you know my thoughts as I get further into the book. And this is really awkward. Jungi, what are you doing? Why are you licking my head? You're so weird. And he's also giving me acupuncture with his claws. Oh my God, buddy. Anyway, catch you guys soon. I am almost through Daughter of Mine. I have gotten to page, let's see, where am I here? Chapter 21, which is page 121 or 221. And I'm really enjoying this one so far. Megan Miranda's writing is really good. I really like her characters. She makes them interesting and flawed, and you care about them. So you're not just reading about this mystery that you don't really care about the characters with. Her mystery is really interesting too. I'm really drawn into it, and the tension is ratcheting up the further I get into the book. So I'm really looking forward to finding out exactly what has gone on. I still don't really have any concrete ideas as to what the solution to the mystery is. So we'll see. I'm hoping to finish this one tonight now because I have just that about 100 pages left. So I'm really hoping to finish this one tonight, and I'm looking forward to figuring out what is going on and to seeing what happens with these characters that I've come to like. She definitely gives unique backstory to the characters too, which I like. The main female character, Hazel, has a really interesting backstory, and that makes her character more not sure what the right word would be, but she's very likable because she's flawed and has this backstory that happened when she was a child that really framed the way she acts now, and it makes you feel for her. And I like that in a character, especially a main character, because then it makes me invested in wanting to see what happens to them. So I'm going to finish this one tonight, and I will let you know my final thoughts. Well, everyone, Eeyore's here with me for my update this time. I finished reading Daughter of Mine by Megan Miranda, and I really enjoyed that one. I ended up giving it 5 stars. And it's fairly rare for me to give 5 stars to a thriller, but I really liked the characters in that one. I really enjoyed the way that Megan Miranda slowly revealed bits and pieces of their past in order to explain their motivations and why they were acting the way they were. And she's just slowly revealed them throughout the story while also ratcheting up the tension, which was really cool. I didn't guess the ending. I had some ideas that proved correct and others that weren't correct, but I was really on the edge of my seat right at the end. Like I was just turning the pages like crazy. And I liked the character growth in it. The main character and some of the other characters all had good growth arcs, and you could really see the way that they were growing and the way that they were changing and all those sorts of things. And then the mystery itself was just really interesting too. There was multiple mysteries going on, current day and in the past. And I like the way she wove everything together into this story that just ratcheted up the tension, and then the present day stuff happening at the end. I guess I would maybe call this more of a mystery than a thriller, but the tension at the end and when everything was going down was pretty crazy. So I really enjoyed that one, gave it 5 stars. And now I am going to read my final one, which is Macbeth by Jo Nesbø. I'll let you know a little bit more about it once I get into it a bit. But my understanding is that it's part of a series of books that were written by various thriller authors that kind of are like a bit of a modern retelling of various Shakespeare plays, but with like a crime writer sort of bent. So I'm not really sure exactly what's going to happen, other than that I know there's like an inspector named Macbeth in this one. So I will fill you guys in once I've read a little bit of it so that I have a better idea of the plot. And Eeyore and I are just going to spend a nice relaxing afternoon by the Christmas tree here. And yeah, I will see you guys in a little while. Did you read all of your books?
I did, but I DNF'd too.
Which ones did you DNF?
I DNF'd Myth Quoted, Robert Asprin's Myth Quoted by Jody Lynn Nye, and The Palace of Curiosities by Rosie Garland. And I read the other ones.
And which one was your favorite?
It was a toss-up between Mayhem at the Orient Express by Kylie Logan Mydale or by Kylie Logan. It was a toss.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. It was a toss-up between Mayhem at the Orient Express by Kylie Logan and When Shadows Fall by Neil Lancaster. They were extremely good books.
Okay.
Hi. Are you helping? Oh,
And he's got a stuck on your finger.
yep.
Okay, and rank them in order of favorite to least favorite.
Okay, so I would have to say my favorite was I probably When Shadows Fall. That one was really good by Neil Lancaster. Next would have been Mayhem at the Orient Express by Kylie Logan. And then Under the Final Moon by Hannah Jane, which was a fantasy. And that one was actually really good, but I like the other two better.
Okay. And if you had to recommend one to me, which one would you recommend?
Definitely Mayhem at the Orient Express. I think you would absolutely love that book. It is so cute. And I've actually taken out another one in that series.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Hi, Yumi.
Ow. Stop chewing on my finger.
Time for a little update on Macbeth by Joe Nesbo. So I have gotten just around 114 pages, or 106 pages actually. Hard to see in the darker area here. I have no idea what that noise was, and I don't really want to know. It was probably one of the cats. They've been insane lately. Okay. So I've been reading Macbeth by Joe Nesbo, and so far I'm really enjoying it. It's part of a series of books. I think it's called Hogarth's Shakespeare or something like that. It's the fourth one in the series, or fourth one. It's the final one in this series, but they're books written by different authors. Each one's written by a different author, and they are like a retelling of a Shakespeare story. So this one is obviously Macbeth, and it's being retold as a modern crime novel. So Macbeth and Banquo and Duff and all of them are police officers in this town that has been very corrupt and full of drugs. And the drugs have been supplied by this drug lord named Hecate. So that's like the head of the witches, right? And then you also have Duncan, who instead of being the king is the new police commissioner. So he's been hired to clean up this town, sort of thing. And then Macbeth, his girlfriend / significant other, is a woman named Lady who runs the Inverness Casino. And so all of this is going on. At the beginning, Macbeth is the head of the SWAT team and Duff is the head of the narcotics team, and they're establishing an organized crime unit. And so Duff and Macbeth are kind of fighting for top spot in this organized crime unit. And now where I'm getting about 100 pages in, you're getting to the point in the story where Macbeth is going to kill Duncan because he wants in this case, the chief commissioner spot. In the play, it's the king's spot. So the next in line, like the deputy chief, his name is Malcolm, which fits with Malcolm being Duncan's son in the play, right? So it's been really fun trying to like pick out all of the little tidbits here and there that are from the play. Like there's various names of things. There's the position on the, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was the other one that was joined for this new organized crime unit, was a guy named Cotter. And if you know the play of Macbeth, Macbeth gets the title of the Earl of Cawdor after the Earl of Cawdor dies. So it's like all these different things that match up with the play, and it's been quite fun trying to figure them out. I do really like Joe Nesbo's writing so far. The way he opens it was really cool because he's like, you're following the path of a raindrop through the whole like first section. You're following the path of the raindrop, and it's like describing this town and everything and the different areas of it, and how it's grimy, and there's you get to see like a lot of the fact that there's all this crime and everything. And then where the raindrop lands is in the first scene where there's this drug bust that's about to go down and stuff. And so that was really neat. I just really thought that was a unique way to start the story, that I haven't seen a lot of people do. And just the way he wrote it was really good. I really enjoyed that. And there's been a few places where he's dropped in descriptions of things that just kind of surprised me. Like they just weren't the way I expected something to be described based on like other things that I've read. And it just was really kind of neat. So I'm really enjoying his writing style so far. I have no thoughts here or there about any of the characters. I have no feelings for any of the characters, but I'm having so much fun trying to place where things are going to happen with respect to the Shakespeare's Macbeth, that hasn't bothered me at all, that I'm not rooting for any particular character, or that that like basically all the characters so far have been fairly unlikable, but that's not really bothering me like it usually does. Like usually I have trouble reading about unlikable characters, but in this case, because I'm following along with the play and trying to pick out all the little bits and pieces that match the play, I haven't been worrying about whether I care about these characters or not. And because I'm enjoying his writing style as well, it's been going well. So I'm looking forward to continuing that one. I'm hoping to finish it this weekend. This is Saturday night now, and I did some baking today and stuff. And now I'm going to be doing some reading. I have some editing to do tonight, and then some reading, and a few other things to get done for Christmas gifts and things that I'm making. So I'm going to get to work on that now tonight, and then hopefully do a bunch more reading. It is a fairly long book. It's over 400 pages, and I'm just over 100, so I have quite a ways to go. But I'm hoping to get quite a bit read tomorrow because I won't be spending all day baking. So I will let you guys know when I get further in the book and if I have any more thoughts on it. I finished Macbeth by Joe Nesbo tonight. This one was very interesting. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I think the writing was really good. I really liked Joe Nesbo's writing, so I'd like to read some more of his stuff. I really liked the way he did descriptions. Like he had the whole thing with where you're following this raindrop, and that's how he started the book, and then it also played into the ending as well. And I thought that was like a really fun way of doing it. I also, one thing that I found with this was because you're retelling Shakespeare on a modern stage, there were things that had to happen for the story that in a modern setting don't really make a lot of sense. So, like, for example, there were certain aspects of the way people were being killed and stuff like that in this town, and the way Macbeth took power and everything, that I don't think would have stayed confined to this little town or this little city. I think that the society at large would have gotten involved in some way. I know there are places where a lot of crap like that does happen, but it's made out like this is like a more modernish world, like it's not it'd be like if the police commissioner of LA decided to take over the entire town and attempt to murder the mayor and all that kind of stuff. So that part I had to kind of suspend my disbelief on. But overall, I really did enjoy the story, and I enjoyed his writing. The ending was really intense. There was a couple of surprises that I wasn't expecting, which was kind of good because I had read the play of Macbeth years ago. I think that was in university that I read Macbeth. And I can't remember if that's the one that I saw at Shakespeare on the Saskatchewan, or if it was Hamlet that we saw. But I went to see the live performance of Shakespeare in Saskatoon on the South Saskatchewan River, and it was really cool. But I can't remember if it was Macbeth or if it was Hamlet that we saw there. Anyways, but it's been years since I read the story, so I did actually do a little bit of research and look up, made some notes on the different characters and everything, and I like the way he brought the characters in and how he modernized the story. It was kind of very, very interesting how he did that. I'm just going to check and make sure I didn't have any other notes here. I had a really fun time trying to follow the story and see where the parallels were to the play. And other than the having to suspend my disbelief in some areas because there's things that make more sense in medieval type settings versus modern settings, it was definitely a good read. I gave it 4 stars. So I'm going to bring out the trusty journal again here. Now, I don't have all the books with me, so I'll have to put them up on the screen here because this one took me quite a bit longer to get to because I had so many other things going on. So I didn't end up having the books to show you guys. But I will tell you, I'll answer the same questions that I asked my family. Did I read all of them? Yes, as you know from watching the previous bit of watching the previous bit of the vlog. My favorite one, it's kind of hard because I have one that I gave 5 stars and one that I gave 4.5. But overall, I think I enjoyed the 4.5 star one a little bit better. It's just that it objectively wasn't necessarily a 5 star. But I think I'll go with the way I have it rated. So 5 star was Daughter of Mine by Megan Miranda. And I did enjoy that one a lot. Like I said before, I really liked her characters and I liked her writing style and everything. So I really want to read more Megan Miranda. So if I was going to rank these in order of favorite to least favorite, I would have to put Daughter of Mine by Megan Miranda at the top. Then The Collapsing Empire by John Scalzi. And that was the one that I wasn't really sure if I wanted to rate that one number 1 or not, but because I did really enjoy that one. But that'll come in at number 2. Then I would put Macbeth by Joe Nesbo at number 3. Then The Prairie Chicken Dance Tour by Don Dumont. And then The Christmas Cat by Melody Carlson. They were all decent books, and I had a good time reading them. So then the other question is, what ones would I recommend to my different family members who recommended books to me? And you will have upcoming vlogs where I read the books that they're recommending to me as well. But I think that of these ones, so let's start with my mom. For my mom, I would probably recommend Daughter of Mine by Megan Miranda. I think she would really enjoy that one because she likes mysteries and thrillers. And I think she would have a good time with that one. I would also recommend that one, I think, for my younger sister, Laura, because she also is a big mystery thriller fan. And I think that she would just in general really enjoy Megan Miranda's writing. I think she would probably have a good time with Megan Miranda's writing. And then I would say for my older sister, Shauna, I think I would actually recommend, I'm pretty sure she's actually read Daughter of Mine, but I would actually recommend Macbeth by Jo Nesbø. I think that she would also find very interesting the parallels with the play. And I think that she would just enjoy his writing. I know she has read one of his books before, and I think she would enjoy the writing in this one. It just was very, very well written. And I think that the parallels to the actual original story are so strong, and it would just be a fun read for her. So that pretty much does it for my library crawl vlog. And I'm hoping to get this out as soon as possible to you guys. I had a really good time filming it. We are going to be doing more library crawls next year and having a good time trying out a few different libraries and some of the ones we've already been to, and just enjoying ourselves using the public library system here in our province. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Give me a like and subscribe if you did, and put your notifications on to see all of my end of year content coming up. And let me know if you have read any of these books and what your thoughts were on any of them, or which of the ones that I read are you the most interested in trying out. And I will see you guys soon on another video. Bye.